Alright, hear me out. I think we really deserve more of these skins in the game. Season 1's Battle Pass has given us some lackluster content in terms of customization, so exploring some badass units in real life definitely isn't a bad idea. Now this video won't be a rant on how DICE should do their stuff, but more of a way to help expand the idea pool and hopefully give them some inspiration. I also want to dig into a concept that I think will help streamline the process of character creation or skin creation. I also want you guys to be critical here, so if you don't like any of the units I mentioned, please let me know in the comments below. Alright, first of all, I actually really love the Lead the Way pack they sell on the storefront. We can tell that from the looks of it, it's an honest one-to-one recreation of real army rangers. One thing some people complained about at first was the rolled US flag on the back of the soldier skins, but after reading articles about it, we can finally learn that there's actually a deep and rich history behind it. You see, some members of the US Special Operations Forces do in fact carry a rolled US flag during deployment. Some say they bring their kit flag on a mission as a keepsake, sometimes as a memento, and sometimes even to cover their fallen teammates. What some people thought was just a random flare added by DICE turns out it actually carry a deep sentimental meaning and morale boost for real soldiers. Honestly, I really hope DICE brings more skins like this into the game. And it doesn't always have to be from the United States too. If we put aside the lore of BF6, there are many other countries with rich histories behind their army units. Another example that you probably recognize from miles away is the British SAS. First founded in 1941 by Sir David Stirling, the most iconic moment of this unit was the Iranian embassy siege on May 5, 1980 during Operation Nimrod. After 5 days of tense negotiations starting April 30th with the Democratic Revolutionary Front for the Liberation of Arabistan, one of the captors killed a hostage and left the body outside the building. Hearing this, the British government, led by Prime Minister Margaret Thatcher, finally authorized a military intervention. This was when the SAS were given the green light to assault the building, and in about 17 minutes, the building was completely secured. 5 of the 6 attackers died, 1 was taken alive, and nearly all remaining hostages were freed. During the mission, the SAS wore a one-piece overall or boiler suit with a fitted assault waistcoat that included pouches for magazines, grenades, and other mission items. Their heads and faces were covered by hoods combined with the British S6 series respirator mask to shield from any gas, along with black combat boots and aircrew style gloves to complete the set. Another contender I think deserves a spot is Germany's GSG-9. Founded in 1972, GSG-9 was formed in the aftermath of the Munich Olympics hostage crisis. They've been involved in major missions such as the rescue of Lufthansa Flight 181, where 16 members of GSG-9 killed 3 hijackers, captured the 4th, and rescued all 86 passengers and 4 crew members in Mogadishu on October 18, 1977. Now, I know some of you might say, but GSG-9 is a police unit, not military. Why would I want them to be in the game? Frankly speaking, I don't want to dive into the details too much because then the video would be 20 minutes long, but from what I read, the country can mobilize their law enforcement, including police units, into war as long as they notify the other parties to the conflict. And looking at the GSG-9 uniform, it's just too good to ignore, man. I personally like their funny looking helmet, but beyond that, the dark blue shirt paired with a black vest is such a perfect fit that I wish we could see more of it in Battlefield 6. Besides that, they also have a full brown uniform and gear combo that would look pretty menacing in Siege of Cairo in my opinion. Next, Polish GROM. Pure fucking aura. GROM, literally translated as thunder, was officially formed on July 13th, 1990. Its founding commander, Sławomir Petelicki, I'm sorry if I butchered that name, modeled the unit's structure and training after elite Western forces, taking inspiration from the British SAS and US Delta Force. From the beginning, GROM's capabilities include hostage rescue, maritime boarding mission, airborne insertion, and reconnaissance behind enemy lines. Now, regarding their uniform, I don't even know where to start, man. Everything they have is just so sick. Like, we got the Frogman GROM, Gas Mask GROM, K9 Unit GROM, and Santa GROM. They got the whole package, and you definitely don't want to see them coming out of your chimney. Jokes aside, these guys are deadly, and their gear looks fantastic too, so it wouldn't hurt to see them in the game. Then there's Canada's JTF-2. They officially stood up on April 1st, 1993 when the Canadian Armed Forces took over federal counter-terror and hostage rescue duties. One of the unit's defining moments came after 9/11 when JTF to deploy to Afghanistan for their first major overseas combat mission as part of the Global Counter-Terror Coalition. During that deployment, you can see them wearing a load-bearing vest over their standard uniform with a chamak to cover their neck or face. We also have photos of them rocking a white overshirt during winter operations in Afghanistan, and it's clearly a different look from the newer winter outfit, but personally, I like the simplicity of the old winter uniform and that load-bearing vest. So what do you guys think? Which one would you prefer to see in BF6? And now, you might not expect this one, but I kinda dig the Brazilian BOPE outfit, man. You simply can't go wrong with black on black. And BOPE, or the Special Police Operations Battalions, is the elite tactical unit of Rio's military police. It traces its roots back to 1978 when a small special ops corps was set up to deal with dangerous urban and favela crime. Over time, that group grew into a fully fledged battalion formalized under the name BOPE in 1991. BOPE is best known for its gritty work in the favelas, urban warfare against heavily armed criminal gangs, drug trafficking networks, barricades, and hostage situations. They became known for operations like Bus 174, major favela raids, and battles against heavily armed criminals. Their intimidating reputation perfectly matches their look: black beret, black uniform, black gear. It's a straight up badass combo for a badass unit. Moving on, we can finally talk about the 3-line gear placement concept. The idea behind 3-line gear system is to divide your equipment into 3 layers, each with a specific purpose for your mission. The 3rd line is every gear you need to sustain your life for a few days. This includes big bag and day pack, stuff, food, drink, foam roll, bed, etc. The 2nd line is every gear you need for engaging a combat in a mission. This includes your plate carrier, chest rig, magazine, main weapon, IFAK, radio for communications, and your secondary weapon. Lastly, the 1st line is every gear that you're wearing for the last-ditch effort to survive. This is basically everything you need if you really have to leave everything behind just for the sake of your own survival. This includes everything that's directly on you or your pocket, like jacket, shirt, pants, boots, navigation system, multi-tool, beanie or a cap, and maybe even secondary for the last method of defense. Besides being practical in real life, this simple concept would, I think, help in the process of character creation, especially for Pax Armada. Because Pax Armada is a PMC and thus considered as mercenaries under the laws of war, they don't get the protections such as prisoners of war status if captured. Now, without that protection, there's basically no incentive for them to adhere to international humanitarian law, making them have a full freedom to dress however they want, technically speaking, of course. Again, I don't want to go into the rabbit hole of explaining the whole legality of that decision, but let's just say they have the full freedom to wear whatever they want, which I will demonstrate in a bit. We'll start with the 1st line. We can go with the basic t-shirt, jeans, a classic black soft shell jacket, boots, and a pair of gloves. Then as we move on to the 2nd line, we can add our multi-cam plate carrier, complete with accessories like mag pouch, belt with holster, our mic, and other things that we may deem important. Now we can actually go on to add the 3rd line, but adding it would mean the soldiers would carry something like a day pack or big rucksack, which probably will make the player model bigger and unfit with the game's direction. So with all of that combined, we could get a skin that looks something like this, or maybe this, or many other examples that we have seen flying around the internet. I mean, this is just one of many examples you can grow with this concept. You could basically pick whatever shirt or pants combo you want, whatever vest or plate carrier you want to use, or whatever accessories you want to plug into your character design. There's basically unlimited amount of customization you can make by simply browsing the tactical gear website. And even with this concept, we could modify the military units we mentioned earlier. We could mix or change the color of their jacket, shirts, etc., just like the one they did in Modern Warfare 2019. Alright, that's all from me. What do you guys think about the units and the concept I proposed to you? Should they be implemented into the game, or is it just too much for an arcade game? Let me know down in the comments section. Leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. Stay healthy, all. Bye bye.